So the last C we're going to cover here is creation. And when we think about creation, we're actually going to be talking about real examples from researchers and teachers as they've taken creation and actually put it together with comprehension and collaboration in order to weave together literacy and technology in their classrooms. So be ready with that pen and paper for lots of ideas or things you want to try out in your own classroom to weave all of these things together. And I can't get started without sharing a biblical example connection here at the beginning, just like I've done in the other two videos. And maybe not as useful for your classroom, but hopefully for a little chuckle as you're watching this video. My best thought for creation was Jesus created wine out of water. Again, I don't know how well that applies to the classroom, but what we want to talk about in all seriousness here is the power of using creation with our students. Because now more than ever, because of our digital age, our students have access to becoming authors at the click of a single key on their keyboard. Right? They can film, they can write, they can create and put it on the internet and immediately be a part of a community, and that community that they can interact with. So we want to go ahead and leverage that in our classrooms because that authentic authorship is actually going to bring about motivation and engagement. And you can't tell me that you don't want motivated and engaged students in your classroom. I think it's time to lean into technology because it's authentic. It creates motivated and engaged students. So here are some of those ideas. I'm going to highlight some projects, some apps, some websites that you might want to consider. And all of them actually blend together. So if it's a project, it also has that connection to an app, to a website. But be thinking about harnessing them for learning activities and or project-based assessments in your classroom. The first project was a teacher who used a classroom blog. They actually hosted the blog through a teddy bear, and that teddy bear asked questions of the students. The questions got on and responded to the teddy bear. So think if you have a classroom pet or a school mascot, how a classroom blog could be a great use of technology to increase comprehension, question answering, that kind of comprehension. Another idea would be podcasting. So whether you have a microphone in your classroom or want to go out and get a inexpensive one, many technology devices already have that microphone built into them. But having students do readers theater and recording them and listening back to it, because when we're doing readers theater, we're working on our fluency, a repeated reading so that we can work on those fluency skills, but simply recording it so students can listen back to it and hear it. That could even be shared with parents. In another article, there's an idea called Play Shop. And if you're familiar with Reader's Workshop and Writer's Workshop, the same can be thought about in structure for Play Shop. We're asking students to create a play, tell a story, and what's really neat about this, in this article, the researchers actually made a checklist, a rubric for assessing for all of the multimodal uses of literacy that happen in Play Shop. Check it out later on in the site. You can actually use this for storytelling in your classroom to equitably assess your students' use of other forms of literacy that are coming about because of technology. The fourth the project I want to share with you is thinking about how you can harness the use of Piclage or something like Canva.com to actually ask students to make a magazine cover after they've participated in a reading, or this can actually go beyond just what we think of as reading class to science or social studies, and create this summary that is a visual summary in which we see students having to deal with comprehending what they've read and computing it out, being that author. Besides just projects, we've got ideas that come together for just what are the different creation apps that we have access to. I've said Canva.com. I use that one a lot and have students use that one. We've got iMovie, Piclage, Weebly for education. You want to make sure that if you create a blog on Weebly for education like I've done, you go to the actual education site, then it's free. If not, if you just go to Weebly.com, it's a paid version. Think about how you can use all of the different products that Google provides, from slides to to even just docs they can create within that. We're also thinking about things like Prezi.com. Things that students can actually create, products that we've got going on here, videos. Do you have a camera? Are you able to make book trailers? One really cool book trailer website would be Animoto. Students have access to themes that they can put pictures and words into Animoto.com. Try that out. Students can do voiceovers. We've got picture taking that can increase comprehension. Presentations, brochures, your classic book reports can be remade and reimagined with technology. We've got Venn diagrams, pic collage summaries, trading cards, website building, coding, portfolios, picture journaling. I'm sure a lot of these ideas are coming together and making you think of others that you've used. And I'll leave you here with thinking about something that's maybe a little bit more radical, but when it comes to creating in your classroom, we can think about leaning into social media as well. Now, do with it what you want with controlling it as the teacher, but think about how a classroom Twitter account might provide creation opportunities, especially for comprehension. A classroom Instagram or a classroom Facebook page, maybe even TikTok. If you have a classroom TikTok, how could that engage and motivate the students in their comprehension, creation, and collaboration foundational skills? In my classroom, one idea that I want to share with you that I'm going to be experimenting with and adding to this site later is our use of the podcast Kid News, N-U-Z, and how that can become incorporated into our morning work, and how students can practice their critical literacy skills of listening to the news, the shortened version, and then explaining it to us in their own way. So again, check back on our website, on this website here. I'll be adding a link to our own version of Kid News in the classroom. And of course, I'll leave you here with remembering technology is great, but we need to make sure that when we're using it for our literacy and technology together in the classroom, we want to make sure that it aligns with instructional goals. We want to make sure that it enhances and extends those objectives. So stick around if you want for that bonus lesson in control, some different thoughts and ideas that we have about that. But if not, continue on in the website. I provide plenty of other resources in the following tabs.